What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Heroes Hearth Warcraft 3. My name is Kendric, and today I present yet another replay to you guys out there with some of the finest players that Asia has to offer. We have Romantic, aka Fortitude, representing the humans, of course, as always, facing XiaoKK, a quite strong Orc player, one of my personal favorites next to Soin, because I do like my tier 2 Orcs, you know, my tier 1 Orcs if you consider Linden Focus tier S. Or only Lin tier S, which is of course also very fair and square. But, you know, Orc-Human matchup, one of my personal favorites. And when these two players are sent to the battlefield, you can definitely expect great things to happen. Now, this is a very special episode, not just because of this matchup and the two players, but also, guys, because it is officially the last Kendric Series before Warcraft 3 Reforged hits the market. So, I don't know, maybe you're watching this and the game is already available. I would actually assume that would be the case. So let's just enjoy this grand and exciting era, you know, where the game that we all love and cherish gets reforged, gets remade and relaunched. And let's hope for a good one. Let's all hope for a good launch and let us, as the community, really step up our game. Show ourselves, you know, to the new community members, to the new players, to the players re-checking it out the game. Let's all show our best side and welcome them. Because I think that is our responsibility and our duty as the community of Warcraft 3 to make it great too.
Ready for action.
Quite the epic speech there, Sergeant Kendric. No, in all seriousness, I'm just so excited about the game. You know, to tell you guys a little bit more about myself, while we're waiting for the Heroes, Archmage, and Farseer, actually. Whoa, that's actually quite the change. No Blade Master here, but Farseer, of course, allows for greater scouting with the wolves, and greater creeping early on, and greater harassing, too. But yeah, to give you guys a little bit of a personal background here, about myself and what I've been doing with Warcraft 3, you know, and what my personal story is with the game. I've been playing the game since ROC launch back in the days, you know. And I've always been loyal to the game, even while I wasn't playing it. Watching back to Warcraft, watching the esports, just caring about the game in general, you know. So it feels so refreshing and it feels so good that after all those years, I'm now finally able to produce more content for you guys. And I hope you guys are having a good time watching it with Heroes Hearth, you know, the Fight Night, the Kendric Series, the interviews with the players that we do, and all the other good things that we have planned for Reforged when it's a little bit more established. So yeah, thank you guys for watching at this point. Thank you for subscribing and liking all that stuff. I think it just needed to be said, right? So back into the game, actually, let's focus on what's going on here. We see Romantic, of course, trying to take his first camp. Didn't really have any major trouble to do so. We see that the Farseer hasn't been able to steal any experience so far, has the wolves, has the grunts. And of course, with that early threat potential, the human has to be very diligent and very careful as to where he wants to scout and creep next. This footy, by the way, making sure that there is no grunt run-bys or no other shenanigans. Also, of course, had to run from the orc attacks. Don't want to lose a footman if you can avoid it. So XiaoKK, he is on Romantic's tippy toes and tries to steal a little bit of experience while taking it for himself. But you know what? Romantic is like, I'm not going to win an early skirmish without taking heavy damage. And I don't want to pull militia all the time because I'm on my way to tier 2. So what I'm going to do instead is, if you want to harass me, I'm just not going to fight you. I'm going to take your experience while you take mine. And this is actually a very smart move in my opinion. If you can't fight them, avoid them and steal stuff while they least expect it. And that should also be the level 2 for the Archmage. Yes, exactly. So Brilliance Aura finally in the game and very much needed, because Peril Spellbinder already relatively low on the mana front. But look at XiaoKK, man. He is not done just yet. He takes it one step further, anticipating that Romantic would actually avoid him, or at least try to do so. And he takes out the mercenary camp with beautiful lightning shield creeping, making sure that no experience is stolen by killing stuff with that neutral lightning shield. And he takes a big fat item into his possession while also buying some early powerhouses, namely the Forest Troll Berserker Mercenary. So strong, the piercing damage it provides is definitely noticeable, especially against the squishy footmen, who, against Orc, traditionally don't go shield upgrade. So that's certainly a very nice addition to his army, and it looks like the cat and mouse game just continues, you know? XiaoKK actually stealing the entire half of the human player, of Romantic. That's going to be so much experience going into this. And normally we're not used to seeing a Farseer play like this, you know. Normally we're used to see a Farseer just continuing to harass and, you know, stay level 1, stay level 2 for a majority of the game even. Because the really important hero for an Orc player is usually not the Farseer, it is the Shadow Hunter. Maybe a TC, depending on what the players want to go for, right? So, very unusual approach. Speaking of unusual approaches, we see a Dark Ranger up in this. No Mountain King, no Blood Mage, none of the above that we're so used to seeing against Orc, especially Mountain King, of course, we have to mention that. Strong hero disable, strong ground control with Clap. Instead, we go for a Silence, most likely. Let me double check on my thing. No, it's actually Dark Skeleton Arrow. It's actually Dark Arrow. So Skellies are summoned. I could have actually told by just looking at the minions spawning from the creeps too. Nicely secured by Romantic to not hand over the experience. But also XiaoKK found a footman for his efforts. You know, with just the wolves and a Farseer, that's certainly a nice pickup. Second hero TC, no Shadow Hunter. You need something in the front line, of course. Aura first for enhanced creeping and mobility while walking around the map. The Skeleton scouts it immediately, though. So what is Romantic's response going to be? There's two ways, really, to handle this situation. You try to go for a creep jack, which currently is unrealistic. The Archmage is too low, the footmen are too bruised, and also too far away, so he now uses the intel that he has on the map to creep the marketplace. One of the most important camps on the map, after all, but XiaoKK, man, he knows exactly what the human is trying to do with a crackling chain lightning. He takes out a footman, but with those priests and the skeletons, I don't think there's a whole lot more he can do now. Could, of course, potentially try to chain lightning steal a creep here if he so wanted to. But yeah, with all those skellies, there's really not much you can do. You don't want to hand over the free experience of the direwolves that easily. You should have another cast ready, though, or saves this for a chain lightning, but arrives a little bit too late, just a millisecond here, and doesn't find another target. So well secured by Romantic. Also has some sorceresses now in the mix. What is his tech even going to look like? Is he going to build Spellbreakers too? Yeah, Spellbreakers are in production. Of course, you always want to have the healing first, a little bit of disable first, so I like that rotation. Meanwhile, we see solo creeping by the TC, of course. Getting this guy to level 3 is an absolute top priority for level 2 Stomp. Level 2 Stomp keeps your enemies stunned until their tears stop falling, you know. It feels very bad seeing half of your army getting basically idled for 2 seconds. Feels very, very bad, man. Especially if that TC gets to level 5 at some point, which on Echo Isles is not always a given due to the limited creep availability, but if that guy ever hits level 5, Romantic is in real trouble. TC, one of the strongest level 5s in the game. Alright, so let's look at items so far. What do we see? Farseer, usually just busy with trying to provide vision on the map, trying to be a thorn in Romantic's side. So he hasn't really found any of the greatest items. Pendant of Energy is pretty nice if you think about it. The TC, on the other hand, the Lord of the Rings, he's selling one immediately. Says, I don't need 2 of those. And yeah, actually quite tanky. No big consumable so far, of course. The Archmage, relatively dry in items. Dark Ranger, trying to go into carry mode a little bit here with double gloves and Circle of Ability. But yeah, none of the players really has those big baller items, you know. And to be fair, Echo Isles is not really known to be a map where you can find those in the first place, so... greater healing, though, always appreciated. Oh, and here comes the Slow and the Farseer, who does have an invul, who does have a TP. So he's just trying to lure Romantic into a false sense of security until reinforcements arrive. Shaman's in the mix. Kodo is here as well. A Windrider even to increase damage against all these unarmed human casters. So I like that. Another slow comes through. Could pop, of course, the speed scroll. Nope. Use the Purge. And now counter strikes with the Purge onto the footy. That's a freebie. Definitely won't say no to that, XiaoKK, that is. Drops another Purge, trying to go for some of the anti-air possibilities of Romantic, but beautiful invisibility. Cast the Troll Berserker to safety. Nice purges onto these water Ellies too. A huge lightning shield onto those poor peasants who are desperately trying to hold the front line against the Orc onslaught there. But is it going to be enough? This TC is looking mighty scary. Has, of course, a level 2 Stomp. Doesn't really work against the Spellbreakers, but hits a couple of priests there as well. These are crucial backbone units, and the purges are raining down through and through. This is great control by XiaoKK, really giving him an edge in the early stages of this fight. But can he persist? Can he mount that advantage and keep it all the way until the end, or is he now going to have to retreat? Yes, he retreats. He realizes he's got a couple of units, he's got a couple of casualties on the enemy side, and hasn't really lost any major components. Oh, nice! A chunk buy, a eat buy. Notices, of course, that the Kodo is going to die to the slow eventually. But, a little bit of extra damage onto the Spellbreaker. Wait, is that Kodo even going to die? No way. No way! The Kodo lives! Unless that one Spellbreaker and the Archmage hunt it down. 2 heroes focus on the Kodo. It gets healed by a Scroll of Healing there as well. Oh, the Kodo base, your mighty survivor, but it dies eventually. Press F to pay respects to the mighty Kodo. Now, of course, the fight has gone a little bit haywire here, with units being split on places where they don't want to be. The Archmage, because of chasing of the Kodo, a little bit out of position, tries to not overstay his welcome. Does he have an invisibility to prevent the hero focus altogether? Looks like Romantic is playing this cool, calm, and collected here. Knows exactly how much damage he can take. The TC now completely dry on mana, has no ways to restore the blue juice. And yep, despite losing a couple of units earlier, Romantic is looking pretty good here. Chain Lightning coming through, though. That is dealing so much damage. But the TC, he cannot afford to lose that bad boy. Of course, XiaoKK takes a very risky fight here. Nice, actually, nice kill on the Priest. Very nicely done, and now TP's out to safety. Now, you might argue, why did XiaoKK take this much damage onto his units? Why did he not just retreat earlier? I think he wanted to buy additional time for this Great Hall to finish, and he did so successfully, of course. Echo Isles is a very small map, though. And Romantic, if he's a smart player, which we know he is, he's going to scout that location immediately. So the Orc player has no time to catch a breather, needs to restore mana and health immediately, and then send his forces down to the bottom to defend this expansion, which hasn't actually paid off yet. Only 1 peon mining, didn't really have the time nor the resources to fully send peons in there. Level 4, that's very unfortunate, of course, when one worker is giving in the free level up to the enemy hero. But this expansion should be safe. There's not a whole lot of great damage in the human army. Oh, he goes for the hero focus. TP is ready, though. He wants to force that immediately. Drops the Invul Potion to cleanse off any impairing spell silence effects from the Dark Ranger. It looks like that's going to be the focus on the Archmage. The stun is coming through, preventing the TP from going through right now. But Romantic, how long can he delay the inevitable? He has to pull the emergency brake, but is the TC going to fall in return? He survives for now. One more auto attack by the Dark Ranger, and we almost saw the mighty cow fall. Oh my goodness, so close. But yeah, this was basically almost best case scenario for XiaoKK. Would have been a little bit nicer, of course, if he had been able to get the Archmage to send the human crying, running home to their mommies. But yeah, even without that achieved, I think it was a great victory. A great victory because he's now on 2 base. He now has time to build and erect 2 towers. The TC is looking strong. 4 and a little something. Farsi a level 4 and a little something too. That Windrider, by the way, is really paying off dividends, isn't he? Like then with that one little chunky boy dealing so much damage. Like if you control your Windriders in these fights, you can take down priest after priest, which should always have highest priority, and then the sorceresses maybe. Yeah, Romantic is relentless. He realizes that if he does not stop the bleeding right now, if he cannot prevent the second base from mining, he is going to be in a dire situation here. But all that focus on the TC, not just with the silence from the Dark Ranger, but also with the Spellbreakers to sap the mana away. He does not want to have to fight against too many stuns. And actually a nice fight from Romantic once again. Very nicely indeed. Kills a Windrider, forces the TC back as well. The Kodo's now completely exposed, but can XiaoKK hold? He needs to fight with the towers. If he wants to take this fight, he needs to retreat to safety, but the slow is merciless right now. The slow is huge. There's no more Dispel, there's no more speed scrolls available, and as such, the human player is going to take a snack here. Going to take 1 unit, going to take 2 most likely. That Troll Berserker shouldn't be able to go anywhere. No more purchase, has to use it on the Windrider. Smart choice. Once again, all this is buying time for the expansion. 2 towers with fortification, building armor, is no joke. That's going to take a while, especially with 5 peons there now to potentially repair. That is going to take a while here. And that forces Romantic to fight on 2 fronts. The Windriders trying to go for a little bit of a flank. If he could somehow make the Windriders transition into the backline of the human without being seen immediately by the Archmage and the Water Elementals, that could be huge. But then, of course, your Windriders are so susceptible to the slow, right? They're so susceptible to the slows. And XiaoKK, he doesn't have the numbers yet. He doesn't have the numbers yet, but this time the TC's coming through with a speed scroll, stunning the casts in the backline. Perfect focus fire by XiaoKK. The Orcish Horde is marching and trying to get more victims into their belly. Nice mana pot. I like that. He's saving that for a last second attempt here. Nice chain AoE combo. Beautifully done. Now a Raider in the mix there as well. Now tries to maybe go for the hero focus. Of course, the Archmage could always be saved by an invisibility cast. That's why we don't see XiaoKK immediately commit to it. But yeah, Romantic, man. He has the units. He has the manpower. In terms of the sorceress, the lady power, of course, the girl power too. But can he finally squeeze and strangle XiaoKK to death? It's been a long grind so far. Still on one base. Still reproducing units like crazy. Riflemen now in the mix as well to add a little bit of range damage into this as well. A very well-rounded human army composition, really. Just a little bit of something. Water Elementals, the Mana Aura is working so hard into the humans' favor too. The Dark Ranger, huge damage from the backline as well in these skellies. If they find a kill, preferably onto those peons, could be huge. And the TC, he's the beaten child, he's the beaten boy. He takes so much damage. The tanking is real. Raider in the backline takes a little bit of damage. Everything is slowed for XiaoKK. How are you supposed to maneuver an army like that? There is no Spirit Walkers, which against the slow at this point would have been crazy good. But of course, there's only so many resources the Orc player can work with. You know, 330. The multitasking is real right now, actually, for XiaoKK. It's not an easy feat to take care of your army, to take care of your expansion, and reproducing units like all the time, see? And you also need to be careful that your reinforcing units are not going to get caught by the human army, you know? So he's very diligent with his waypoint setting. Or rally point setting, I should say. Yeah, and these skellies, of course, he's now doing exactly what I talked about earlier, you know? Romantic trying to get those easy, those weak units to produce additional skellies as meat shield, although there's hardly any meat left on their bones. But also, of course, to provide extra melee damage against the structures, which is so huge. Alright, XiaoKK, looks like both players have signed a truce for now, you know? A little bit of a still stand. But let's see. Shop control, of course, in the hands of the human player, which is ever so huge. We see an invul coming through. No additional items, though, you know. Romantic, keep in mind, he's only on one base, so the longer this goes, if XiaoKK doesn't take huge damage, huge casualties, this should favor him. But of course, only if that base is mining, too, which is a little bit of a problem right now. Speed scroll engage coming in once again with a flanking maneuver. Catching 1-2 casters. Here comes the stomp, hitting the entire army of Romantic. That cow is on a warpath, stomping people to the ground. And let's see, there's another one. That was a huge one, an important one there as well. And one unit after the other is falling. Level 5 for the Farseer. That means level 3 Chain Lightning. Huge damage multiplicator coming in right now in this fight. The Wind Riders uncontested. They should focus a little bit on the backline right now, focusing down on the anti-air though, so they are unchallenged up in the air. Level 3 Wolves actually coming through. No Chain Lightning. Doesn't really mind, or doesn't seem to mind the Spellbreakers potentially being able to steal them. So yeah, hero focus right now. Dark Ranger really, really low. And XiaoKK bought the time he needed to buy. Very huge engagement by him. Meanwhile, the expansion is mining again. One tower still left standing. XiaoKK, is he going to let that fall? Spellbreakers, man. Spellbreakers are kind of the make or break, no pun intended here, for the human players, because these guys hold the front line. These guys are so hard to kill for the Orc player. And it looks like finally this expansion may fall. 1, 2, 3, 4 skeletons reinforcing that fight. Romantic trying to zone out the Orc player. XiaoKK is desperate. Basically what he needs to do is get enough healing, get enough mana onto the TC. Has a mana pot, has a healing pot, so this could be the cow's time to shine. And he's going through level 5, level 3 stomp. This is huge. A lot of additional crowd control now available for the frontline hero of the Orc player. And finally, it looks like XiaoKK is able to break through, completely ignores the Spellbreakers and tries to go for the units that actually are dying. Sorceress is, of course, big focus target, but the Wind Rider micro is not on point so far. Now takes down one. Even the first Spellbreakers are in a little bit of trouble. Of course, these can't be stunned. These sap the mana off the TC. So annoying to deal with. 3 units being hit, 3 units being taken down. Yeah, that's some great synchronization here. Really good CC combo by XiaoKK. and snare them with the Raider and focus them down with the Wind Riders. That seems to be his key to victory. One red Wind Rider gets taken down, though. The cow's back. Drops another one with the invul. Now Cole goes onto the Archmage, who has a healing pot but can't use it. Level 3 War Stomp, baby. That's what I'm talking about. XiaoKK continues to march on forward. Shouldn't overstay his welcome, though. Great damage, actually, still on that Dark Ranger. Never underestimate her. And she snipes down, Romantic snipes down another Shaman in the back. Gets another one. Even more skeletons coming into this fight now, and the fight is not over yet. The fight is not over. One Dark Ranger is holding the line against the Orcish units. And did XiaoKK get a little bit too reckless? All of his units are dangerously low. He doesn't even micro anymore. He's probably busy macroing the expansion and rebuilding. Level 6 Farseer. Both players taking heavy damage. But XiaoKK, what happened to your Wind Riders, mate? These are still important units. You cannot afford to throw them all into the garbage. Level 5 Dark Ranger now as well, which is so huge. Going for the level 3 Dark Arrow, actually. And this is what I was talking about earlier. The level 3 Shadow Wolves, man. Taken over by the Spellbreakers. This is not good news. They chunked down the TC. Oh no, the TC is being betrayed by his own units. Taken down by the Dark Wolves. Romantic is absolutely wrecking it. The Madman. Using the Orc's weapon against him. And now, of course, he's not done with this. He's not done. Look at these wolves. So much value. These wolves are insane, but there is more where those came from. This time the yellow wolves, you know, this time the Orcish wolves. Level 6 Dark Ranger. Is she going to charm the Shaman here, maybe? Ah, she has no mana. She has no mana for the level 6 ulti, and now she's getting purged. This one Shaman could be the MVP. The wolves might claim another victory. Are you serious right now? Romantic, he gets away to safety. Even had the invul, so he was just toying with his food. And now the priests, they have arrived again to heal manually. Only the Dark Ranger, so nicely done. XiaoKK, he's desperately trying to get the Dark Ranger, only to see her survive yet for a longer period of time. This wolf, though. No way. No. The wolf is not enough. Could have landed a lucky crit, but even that wouldn't have been enough to take her down. There's 2 more where those came from. Does Romantic see them? They're invisible right now. Does he see him? One Chain Lightning could be enough, but the Farseer is completely dry. Oh, no, he's still trying. He's still trying. That's not good, though. This time, the Woven Trickery shall not work. And what is XiaoKK doing in the meantime? Going for a sneaky Orc base run by with the Raiders. Oh no, he found the Archmage in a really vulnerable situation. He's getting body blocked in his own base. The SimCity that normally would have been on point is working now against him. The Wolves are coming in as well as another DPS amplifier. Is it going to be enough though? Can the Archmage actually buy an item next to the shop? Yes, healing pot coming through. He's still trapped though. Can you believe it? Oh no. Romantic is going to lose another hero. Level 5. Needs to save his Farseer now. He could actually get counter blocked in. Oh, no. The own units are working against him now. The Farseer is slowed and running into the casters. Can he body block? Romantic. He could have body blocked with a priest here maybe, but does he even need it? The slow should be strong enough by itself. Where is it? No, it's running off. No way. He had to actually save and micro his Dark Ranger, it seems like. That's why he wasn't able to body block, because the Dark Ranger was so in trouble. And now she's low health. The one wolf is still here. No way. Where are the priests to heal? Oh. He took over a Raider, by the way, with Charm. Oh. So smart. And he takes down the Wind Rider, too. These two players are showing each other a war of micro. A war of good skills. But where's the TC, by the way? Still in the base. Still trying to rejuvenate. This expansion, by the way. Just barely. Still standing. Of course, not mining, so it doesn't matter. Archmage has to be revived the normal way. Both players now out of mining in their main bases, so no resources ready. No lavish, luxurious life, of course, for either of the players to go to the tavern and instantly revive someone. Is XiaoKK going to be able to hold it? Romantic knows that this expansion is now the all-decisive factor. The wolves are scouting. What are the wolves trying to do, though? Here comes the TC. One cow to dominate them all, question mark. Takes over the Kodo and eats a Shaman. Huge. Takes out 2 units in one go. This Dark Ranger with a level 6 charm could actually be the hidden superstar. What can a TC do without mana? Not much. And Romantic is schooling XiaoKK now, showing him how to use invisibility to save hurt units. Yeah, there's nothing the Orc player can do anymore. These units are going to kite him until the day of tomorrow. Level 6, though. Did I speak too early? I mean, reincarnation could actually be huge. He's hunting down those casters. It's not over yet until it's over, Kendric. However, level 3 Dark Minions are no joke. The expansion is now going to fall. And what is left for XiaoKK to do? The only thing he's got left are his 2 units in a pair of trusty dogs.
We're under attack.
These peons, do they even matter? Here come the reinforcements. The peasants are trying to save the noblemen. Arm yourself and save me, you fools, is probably what the priest said. Sorry about that, guys. My Warcraft 3 decided to act up on me, so not too much was lost here. Of course, you can see now, I paused the game actually just to be safe, but that actually never happened before while watching a replay. But you can see the dire situation for the Orcish heroes. Oh boy, oh man. Surrounded by fools and peasants. The most vicious way of dying. The question is, are they going to die though? The TC will come back, so let's see what the story has left for us. You definitely don't want to focus the cow first. It'll come back fully rejuvenated. Oh my goodness, the Chain Lightning actually dealing tons of damage. And what is Romantic doing, really? His army is coming through now. The 2 heroes are still alive. So yeah, XiaoKK realizes he couldn't have fought this human army anymore. Level 6 on the Dark Ranger, too strong. There was absolutely nothing he could have done with those 2 heroes. And XiaoKK, he could have probably just, or Romantic, sorry, he could have just ignored the cow and the reincarnation. So yeah, what a heated game, man. We saw a lot of back and forth. We saw a lot of intense microing in these fights, especially by Romantic, and I think, whose invisibility micro has been just on fleek. And I'm very happy that Raycrab, my boy, sent over this replay to me. And I think we've chosen a worthy replay to basically say goodbye to the classic Warcraft 3 experience as we know it. Now it is time to welcome Reforged. Now it is time to raise our glasses and toast to another 15 years of Warcraft 3. And I can't wait to be your guide on this journey next to many other lovely people in the community. So thank you guys for watching, and let's hope for the best. Let's see what Reforged has in store for us. Of course, you're going to see all that sexy Reforged content on this channel as well, so feel free to leave a thumbs up to this video and subscribe for more videos in the future to come. Until then, peace out and see you around.